Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, also known as Quasi Thoughts. I am a serial cover changer. I like to change my notebook covers close to daily. I thought it might be interesting to go through all the different covers I have, a lot of which are personal planners that I have deringed, and kind of show you what fits and what doesn't. So just to start, these are my Moterm planners that I have. These two are personal. This is A6. These two are Gillio. This is an Appunto, and this is a yellow personal XL, or medium Compagna XL is what it's called. It has been deringed and the black backplate removed. More on this in a minute. For fun, this is a Chic Sparrow B6 Slim. We're gonna see what fits in that. Hand-stitched leather tee. Foxy Fix number 5. This is the TN. And then I have a Malden ocher, which you guys probably remember from my back pocket experiment. Love this guy. Notebooks that I have: A6 Hobonichi, A6 Stalogy, Hobonichi Weeks, Cafe Note B6 Slim, Jibun Techo B6 Slim, Zequenz B6 book. I have the Stalogy half year. I don't have a unused regular size Stalogy, but I do have 2 of these. And then, of course, my B6 Stalogy hanging out right here. Okay, so why? Why are we doing this? First, I want to point out, this is a cover designed for, I think I actually got it to house a B6 Slim, but I have a Stalogy in it. And if you're not going to chunk up your Stalogy a lot, you can get away with a very flush cover that's built just for a B6 size. For example, this would work. Also, this A6 Moterm right here, I deringed. And then I just ran, I want to make sure you can see, I ran some elastic through the holes. This would also work. It is actually cut very large for an A6. It's a little finagly. I'm just making sure you're on frame. It's a little finagly, but it definitely fits. I happen to love this leather from Moterm. The color, the faux ostrich print. Yeah, it's quite amazing. I am tempted to see if I could unsew this and create a pocket, but it's, as you can see right here, I hope, the B6 is almost exactly that tall, or as tall as this cover. But if you wanted to use this for a cafe note, it would fit. Make sure, right? You might even be able to get away with a Jibun Techo. There is going to be a lot of room for tabs and a pen. But it is a possibility if you're willing to straight up turn it into a traveler's notebook. It would work for like a Jibun and a cafe note together. Also, you could probably do a Weeks. The Weeks is going to stick out, so I wouldn't recommend a Weeks. So that is this Moterm A6 and what fits in it. Let's take a a look at the B6 Slim from Chic Sparrow. This is a Creme Brulee classic. Okay, I carried this for a long time, a Cafe Note and a Weeks. I did this back in 2017. I don't know if you can read the blind emboss on this. That was my go-to. But for those interested, it will also hold a Jibun Techo Slim and a Cafe Note from Nanami, if that is your cup of tea. However, this is a slightly bulked out Stalogy. There will be overhang if you use a Stalogy. If you use just a half year and you really form the leather to it, it just barely fits. So I don't think you could bulk it up at all, and you'd have to spend some time training the leather. You might even have to take the elastic out to get it to really conform to this. There are better options for this. So Chic Sparrow B6 Slim, just B6 Slim options. If I were to take a B6 Slim, or sorry, the Stalogy half year and put it in this hand-stitched leather tee, all of a sudden I have room for a little bit of tabs. It is very thin. I could also bulk this out quite a bit. If I put 2 in here, I start to come right to the edge. This is a little high. I'm pretty sure when I spoke to Tanya about this, she was designing it for me for a Jibun Techo. So here you could put, I guess maybe I was asking for top tabs. I don't know, you could put Jibun Techo and a half year Stalogy in this. I love her covers. The leather is just very soft and squishy. Okay, let's move on to Moterm. So the very first thing that I want to point out, both of these are personal Moterm planners that I deringed, and it is exactly the same size as a Stalogy. No, not a Stalogy. It is exactly the same width as a Malden. Maybe slightly millimeter smaller. So if you find a Malden to be too small to hold like a chunked out Stalogy, then you'll probably find this Moterm the same thing, right? But again, you could turn it into a traveler's notebook, and very easily you could get a half year and a Jibun Techo in there. If you were to do the B6 Slim in this, it would work very well. If you were to put the Cafe Note and the Weeks, you start to have a little bit of overhang. I think personally I prefer the fit of the Chic Sparrow B6 Slim. You can see how it's just a little bit shorter. Let's do that comparison too. When I open this all the way up, you can see how this is just a little bit, the B6 Slim from Chic Sparrow is a little bit narrower, less wide. This is the hand-stitched leather tee. It is wider. So this is negligibly different. So all 3 of these, hopefully you can see, are about the same width. They're gonna hold Stalogies about as long. The exception being this is elastic. If, oh, I forgot to say, on hand-stitched leather tees, if the knot is bothering you, this is a, it's got like these little metal tees. I don't know if this is showing up. Let's see if I can get this up close for you. So it's got these little metal tees that I just washed together, and it sits very flat in the spine this way. And that reduces some of the spine hump. that you can get in these books with the elastics. So I'm pretty sure Dexina has shown exactly how thick and chunky a Malden will hold a Stalogy until I like to chunk up my books. So this is a number 5 Foxy Fix, and this Stalogy still fits, but it's getting very full. I can make this work still, and I do, but I mean, I like to use up my stash, and that means I make thick books. So the next step thicker is my number 5. So I just cut some acetate to make these easier to slide in, and then I stretched out the pockets. So I took some shoe stretch, I sprayed it in the pockets, and I stuffed it with some B6 books and pouches and whatnot to make this slide in very easily, so that the cover would work for me. It does not do this, or it didn't, at least this version didn't when I first got it. Both pockets. And so now I can move the book around very easily. This is the TN, I took the elastic out of the inside. So this feels great. I think it fits perfectly right now. I can probably get this significantly chunkier. This is a compact. I do have a Foxy Fix number 5 wide on its way to me. I imagine it will let me get even chunkier. So there's that. Pull this out really quick. Oh, the other thing, I took one of these fur and U charms, and I just with pliers, I unclipped one of the dangles and threaded it through the bottom holes of the Foxy from the elastic, and then put the charm back on to add some bling. So next up, this is a Gillio Appunto in royal blue, and this will hold a very wide book, or a very chunky book. As you can see here, it holds it no problem. You do ultimately run out of room, I think, because like there's a limit to the amount of chunk that you can get. For comparison, here we go next to the Malden. You can see how much wider we're getting compared to the Foxy Fix. It's about the same. Somehow the snap closure makes it feel shorter. Next up in size, this is a yellow XL, medium Compagna XL that I deringed. I took the back plate out. If you do this to your Gillio, you void the warranty, but there's a way to do it without cutting any of the leather. And I'm able to put the back plate and the rings back on and use this as a ring planner if I ever went crazy and wanted to use a ring planner again. But you can see this is even wider. So this one will let me get super chunky and still have room for side tabs, my pen, all that sort of stuff. I do want to say really quickly that if you had a personal wide, this is a Gillio personal wide in gold, this is too wide. At least for me, it would be way too roomy. Let me see if I can do this. So here, and all the books fell. Here is the difference between, this is a medium XL, and this is a Compagna medium personal wide. That's a pretty significant increase in size. So for example, this is my not so used Stalogy. If I put this in here, it's kind of swimming in it, right? If I were to use, where's my other Stalogy? If I were to use these two completely blank half years in here, it's got a lot of gap. This is about as much gap, maybe even more gap than I'm comfortable with. If I were to close this up, right, and just line the book up here, you can see how floaty this notebook would be in the personal wide. I would not de-ring this. I also had a personal wide Foxy Fix that felt very similar. I didn't actually de-ring it. So yeah. Oh, I totally left the Zequenz out. the A6 Hobonichi. So this will fit, an A6 will fit in this, but it is very big. Like, this is too much space. So I would not de-ring your A6 ring binder to put an A6 book in. It's too much space. I will say that this Zequenz is just slightly different than a Stalogy footprint, so it's a little bit narrower and a little bit shorter, and it fits very well in this. Can you see that? I hope so. This A6 Moterm, de-ringed. And then if I were to put this in the personal de-ringed Moterm, it would also fit. And in the hand-stitched leather tee, it's a little bit, that's a lot. That's like an inch of gap. This might not be her standard height. A little bit different. I did carry a Zequenz for like 6 or 7 months in this Gillio, and I chunked it up quite a bit by tipping in, I did the whole DIY fish weekly, like flip outs, tip-ins that like fold out, and it chunked it up a lot and fit very nicely. It feels a little roomy in the beginning if it's like brand new and flat. So yeah, it's like planner palooza here, a little bit craziness going on. But I hope you all found this comparison helpful. I know that I always find these kinds of comparisons helpful, and sort of understanding what will work and what won't. My biggest recommendation would be don't de-ring your Gillios. They are super expensive. It voids the warranty. You probably wouldn't be able to sell this. I mean, I see de-ringed Gillios on Buy Sell Trade. They generally are like $150. They don't sell very quickly. It's a cheap way to get a Gillio if you wanted to de-ring it, is keep an eye out for one that somebody de-ringed. But then I find a lot of people sometimes cut the leather to do it, and that is not necessary. You can just like reach in and pry the back plate off. In fact, let me show you. Somewhere I have a back plate. Excuse me as I rummage through all my stuff. So this is a back plate, and this is the glue that was left over. And you can slide this in here without hurting the leather, and then maneuver it around such that it sits in here like this. I don't know that I can do it on camera. And then put the rings back on. It won't be glued in unless you add some glue to it, but it will be secure. So yeah, I wouldn't de-ring a Gillio again. I would de-ring a Moterm Most of the time, the reason, like I de-ringed this one because they didn't make an Appunto in this color, and I very much like this color. Not that they call it an Appunto, but I mean, let's be honest, Moterm is copying Gillio here. They do make a note, like a B6 cover in this white color. It's not a true white, it's kind of like an eggshell off-white, I don't know. But I couldn't find one, and I could find this one, so I de-ringed it. That's what I got. If this was helpful, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. And until next time, talk to you later.